life. Okay, it looks like I am in the right life. Sorry about that. I thought I was in the wrong life. Let me try to find the life that I'm on YouTube. Nope, that's the live for later. We have a live after this. I also want to address Lisa G. You left a comment and thought that I did not speak about Charlotte Sena, who went missing and thankfully was found alive from the New York State Park up near Albany, New York, near Schenectady. I most certainly did speak about that well before I addressed the dumber things that were said. I'm sorry that you missed that, but I don't know how you, but if you missed it, you missed it. I did reply to your comment and show that to you, so I really think that's some misdirected outrage or whatever, because I most certainly did speak about that little girl, prayed for that little girl, had the news on all day as the backdrop of everything I was doing. Okay, right before she was found, I came in from a 12.6 mile bike ride and asked Jimmy, did they find the little girl? No, they hadn't found her yet. So, I don't think I'm, hold on, no, this is not the right live stream. I'm in the right live stream, but I'm not in the right live stream. I know that's very hard to comprehend. I'm trying to find it on my YouTube. There it is. Okay. So, all right, let me get to live chat. The second thing I want to address is that I would like to ask for some prayers. My brother had a stroke today. He's had a procedure to drain some of the blood. It was a milder stroke, but he still has some confusion and difficulty moving things on one side of his body. And they've done the procedure to alleviate the blood that's in the brain. And that seems to be working, and it seems to be making it possible that he won't need like a more invasive surgery. So yeah, if we could have some prayers for that, that would be great. Because that was news I also got after I came in from my bike ride, and was not expecting that. But thanks everybody. So yeah, some prayers would be great. And let's see what else. Good news that Charlotte Sena was found. It seems she was abducted. I hear talk of ex-offenders and all of that stuff and how and what, but the last time I checked, and I'm going to go check now, the governor of New York was not giving out many details, but let's see what we can find out now. I think more stuff has come out. So thanks guys. Let me go and pull that up and we'll talk about that, because I was really I was thinking the worst about that whole situation. That was really scary. Okay. And I hope that, like what happened while she was away, right? I've heard about many different things. So she was found in good health just after 6:30 p.m. And the suspect, identified as Craig Nelson Ross Jr., was known to live near the multiple residences that they were searching. Okay. New York State Police were able to identify Ross Jr. by matching fingerprints on a ransom note that was left at the girl's home to one from a 1999 DWI case in Saratoga. And that's according to Governor Kathy Hochul. We are overjoyed at the news that Charlotte Sena has been located safely this evening after an intense days-long search. The governor said, "Our hearts are with her family and as they welcome her home. Thank you to the New York State Police, the New York Park Police, and all those who work so tirelessly to find Charlotte. It is because of their efforts that Charlotte will be able to return home safe to her family." Okay, now let's see here. I want to get... let's see. The suspect is 47 years old. So what did he do? Did he just grab her off the bike? You know, here is... let's see what's going on here. Charlotte had been bike riding with her friends Saturday when she disappeared to do one more loop on her own, and that's when she disappeared. It all happened within 15 minutes. Concerns grew that she may have been abducted when they located her bike, right? And the park was closed indefinitely when the search for Charlotte was underway. Charlotte was at the campground with her parents, David and Tricia Sena. Her parents knew immediately something was up. They called her name. People started searching. People from other campgrounds joined. About 30 minutes later, they called 911. The scene was chaotic. People leaving their food, leaving their tables, just everyone in the search calling the name Charlotte, Charlotte, the governor said. State police arrived on the scene at 7 p.m. Charlotte was recovered a little before 7 p.m. on Monday. So 48 hours there, right? So far, police have not released much information about the suspect. Let's see what else we can see about this guy. So let's see what we can see. Craig Nelson Ross Jr. Let's see. In a late-night news conference on Monday, Governor Hochul identified the suspect as Craig Nelson Ross Jr., 47. She said the case was beginning to break before dawn on Monday morning when the state police, who were monitoring Charlotte's family home in nearby Greenfield, New York, noticed a car approach, and someone believed to be Mr. Ross placed a ransom note in the mailbox. State troopers retrieved that note and managed to draw a fingerprint off of it. The fingerprint was linked to an arrest in 1999 of Mr. Ross for driving while intoxicated. Hours after the fingerprint match, law enforcement officials descended on the home of Mr. Ross's mother in nearby Milton, New York, where he was living in a camper behind the residence. Milton, New York. I think I've been there too. The law enforcement officers raided the camper and they apprehended Mr. Ross. Then the officials found Charlotte. She was hidden in a cupboard. She knew she was being rescued, the governor said. She knew she was in safe hands. Charlotte was in good health and had been taken to a hospital for evaluation. The governor said no charges have yet been filed against Mr. Ross, but were expected to be soon. Wow, what are they waiting for? In an earlier release, the state police said the troopers had identified the suspect as being in the area of that state park around the time Charlotte went missing. The governor praised the efforts of the state police as well as all who worked so tirelessly to find Charlotte. Some 400 law enforcement officers and other personnel had joined the search, including park rangers and private companies as well as the FBI. It just feels like a miracle that little Charlotte is safely reunited with her parents. Charlotte's disappearance had frightened parents nationwide, even as experts have cautioned that kidnappings by strangers are rare. The circumstances had echoes of the 1996 kidnapping and murder of Amber Hagerman, another 9-year-old girl who was snatched by a man while riding her bike in the Dallas area. Amber's death was the inspiration for Amber Alerts, which broadcast information on a variety of mediums about children who are deemed to be in immediate danger. In Charlotte's case, such an alert was issued Sunday morning, even as New York authorities were scouring the park using bloodhounds, aerial units, boats, searched the park's small lake with sonar. Before her discovery, Charlotte's family had pleaded with the public to share her photo widely in hopes of finding her, even as reporters and rescuers descended on the park. Any information would help, said Janae Luciana Sena, Charlotte's aunt, in a TikTok video on Sunday night. Authorities also seemed eager for assistance, putting out a lengthy release just before Charlotte was found, asking for tips. No detail is too small. The details of Charlotte's disappearance were harrowing. She was last seen riding bikes with her friends on a small loop road inside the park. That was a little before 6 p.m. Then she wanted to go around one loop by herself, but she never returned from that. The governor said that she has received calls from all over the nation who are worried about Charlotte, a 4th grader whose parents have described her as a happy-go-lucky little girl. She added that she had worried as the hours passed, noting that the first 48 hours can be critical to such investigations and that as time passes, hope starts to wane. When you hit that 48-hour moment, you realize it's going to be tough, and then you start thinking the worst. But what happened was extraordinary. And it is. I mean, great, great news. Okay. So I wonder when he went to leave that ransom note how he had her secured. Or was she in the car with him? Who knows? Probably not, because that was a chance there going. Pretty brazen thing to go there and to leave a note, huh? But that was the key that got him caught. And now if I could only find where you all are. Where the heck? There's my life. Okay. So, let's see here. Yes, she was found safe. That's really, really good. Very, very good. And okay. And now we're going to go to something. I just want to see this one thing over here. I want to see if this is recent. Oh, and my daughter, she doesn't even know. I didn't want to tell her about my brother because she is just on the first day of her trip. So I hope that everything's okay. Okay, let's go to our next story. Okay, this is one of those freak accidents at an Oklahoma airport, and a mother of 3 lost her life. Just get that over there. Hang on. My hold on a minute, my Google Chrome decided to close down, so I have to reconnect up here. That's will be okay. All right, we are just not even going to go the route of trying to reconnect up the other way with all my windows open. Where is my YouTube studio so I can open my live here. Okay, here we go. There, now I'm in there. Sorry about that, but it'll be easier now that it just got rid of everything. Okay, there we go. Let's try this again. Okay, so a single mom of 3 was killed when she was struck by the wing of a landing plane as she rode a lawnmower at work at a small Oklahoma airport. Okay, so she's on a lawnmower doing her job, and the wing of a plane hits her and she dies. The pilot is 70-year-old James Baxter. He noticed her and he tried to take off to avoid hitting her, but the wing fatally struck the woman in the head as he was unable to gain altitude fast enough to avoid hitting her. She was declared dead at the scene. She had been employed by the City of Broken Bows Park Division. The pilot was uninjured in the tragic accident, and no charges have been filed against him. He was in a 1972 Beechcraft Bonanza A36 coming in for a landing. I don't know how she didn't hear that, or I'm a little bit confused about whether they had some controllers or anything. The accident remains under investigation. We are heartbroken and devastated by the passing of one of our team members. This is a terribly tragic accident. Our deepest sympathies go out to the employees, family, friends, and coworkers. Our number one priority is always safety for the employees and public. It's critical that we determine how this accident occurred. She added they currently cannot provide further details until the investigation is completed by the Highway Patrol and the FAA. The small airport, which has a 3,200-foot asphalt runway, is not staffed with, there's our answer. It's not staffed with air traffic controllers. The pilots self-announce their landings and takeoffs on the radio. The weather at the time of the accident was clear. One of her friends mourned her with an emotional message on Facebook. Saying, "Rest in peace to this sweet, beautiful soul, Samantha Hayes. I loved getting to know you and hanging out. We never had a dull night. We would always end up laughing the whole time or doing something off the wall, like trying to catch a vulture in the middle of the night when you thought it was a chicken, or cutting our legs up, crawling under the barbed wire fence to go frog gigging. I will forever cherish those memories we made that are absolutely precious to me. I wish we had more time, Sammy. We love you." Another one, Samantha Hayes was a wonderful, great mom to her 3 babies. She was a single mom who worked hard to give them a safe and loving home. These babies know they were loved every day, all day. God knew his plan for her, and it's hard for us to process because she was still needed here, but his ways are higher than our ways, even when it's hard to understand, she added. So that's very sad. Okay, and where was my hang on. Okay. So next up, we have a wife who went on a camping trip with her husband, and let's put it mildly that it wasn't what it was supposed to be. A lovely time in nature and with friends, you know. So the woman charged with murder of her husband on the camping trip says she doesn't recall anything about the alleged incident. Ilknur Kaliskan allegedly killed Serdar, her husband of 25 years, while the couple was enjoying a nice little getaway with friends. And you've got to, like, even, this is really called Mount Disappointment in Australia. I think, who in their right mind first would name any Mount Disappointment? Why was, I'm going to have to look into why it was named that, but Mount Disappointment? A lawyer acting on behalf of the family said the alleged incident happened in front of 3 couples as they sat around the campfire, the fire pit. Maybe they were roasting marshmallows. They're having a good time. And they also, I wouldn't even say that it's disappointment. I would say it's horror, right? The couple's adult children said their parents were very happy and had just gotten back from an overseas trip to Turkey just 2 weeks ago. Just returned back from an overseas trip to Turkey. The wife's lawyer, Marcus Denning, said she was not in a position where she understands anything about that night. What was going on? Were they High, drunk, what was going on? She doesn't recall anything to do with any type of violence. What has transpired happened in the context of people sitting around a campfire. Serdar and Ilkner lived with their adult son and daughter in Melbourne. It is an unusual case with no evidence of intention to commit a homicide. There's no motive and no evidence of prior violence, said the attorney. It's just a horrible event. And to show you that it really is called Mount Disappointment. Why? What the heck is with that name, Mount Disappointment? I'm going to look that up. Her immediate family has said they love their mother, they will stand by her, and they will help her as much as they can get the treatment that she needs. The 46-year-old wife sobbed as she stood in the dock of the Shepparton Magistrates Court on Monday. She has been remanded in custody and has been booked in for a forensic psychiatric assessment at the end of the month. We're hoping that will illuminate for the public, the family, and the courts to the status of her mental health, her attorney said. Emergency services were called to the remote bushland north of Melbourne on 11:30 p.m. on Saturday when they found Serdar, 50 years old, suffering from a stab wound, and he died at the scene. His wife was arrested at the scene and charged with murder on Sunday afternoon. She returns to the court for a committal mention on December 19th. Okay, so let's see about the naming of Mount Disappointment. Okay. Well, you know what? It's not the only Mount Disappointment. There's a Mount Disappointment in California. And there's an interesting story about how that mount got its name. It's in the San Gabriel Mountains. Interesting, but we want to see what about Australia. Let's see how that got its name. It's probably one of the same things. Okay, it's a majestic mountain in Australia. It's a 2,600-foot tall mountain nestled on the southern end of the Great Dividing Range. It's a 1-hour drive from Melbourne. Mount Disappointment is the traditional land of the Kulin Nation, Aboriginal Australians. Ancient stone weapons have been found here. So how did it get its name? Let's see. Goes back 150 years to when George Montague Wheeler, a 27-year-old Army lieutenant, had a bold plan to map the whole of the United States west of the 100th meridian. Is that what happened? What is going on here? I'm not going to go through this whole thing. Okay, so after making the arduous climb to reach the summit, Holm and Hubble hoped to finally witness the distant Port Phillip Bay. Alas, the mountain's many trees blocked the view, which resulted in utter disappointment. In addition to this downfall, Hume suffered a painful injury in his groin. He ended up facing a lot of pain, and the entire party of surveyors had to put a 5-day halt on their mission after experiencing one disappointment after another. Well, I guess we know why it got its name. And they decided to immortalize their disappointment by naming the Australian peak Mount Disappointment. So yes, it got its name from a tantrum thrown by the surveyors.